band that I'm in, we all are remote, so we're not often in the studio together at the same time. So there's a lot of kind of creating some parts and just recording it on cell phones and sending it back and forth. And when I'm working on drum parts, this is a quick little trick to quickly get some versions of things out there so the band can have listen, and then when we get together we can actually work on them in more detail. So with Logic, when you're recording, you can record your audio into multiple takes, or you can use track alternatives, which will help you switch back and forth between them. Conceptually, they're kind of the same, just the usability and functionality is just a teeny little bit different, so you can kind of pick the one that is going to suit you the best. So first, to set this up, go into your Logic Pro X menu, Preferences, and then into Recording, or the shortcut key is Command, comma, and this is going to bring up your overlapping track recordings options. So you can see here, you can set this for cycle off or on. So if I'm working on a drum part for an intro for a song, I'll put the cycle on for the whole intro and just keep recording over and over again. And you can set up different options for each of these. So a take folder is going to create multiple takes that will allow you to kind of chop and merge audio from multiple takes on the same track alternate. Track alternatives will actually allow you to switch back and forth to completely different track alternatives. So when the cycle is off, I have these set up to create a new take folder. If you want, you can also set this up for creating a new track, and then everything will be totally separate. Or track alternatives will give you the little toggle option, and I'll show you that in a second once I get into the recording. So I'll set cycle on to create track alternatives, and then create a take folder when I have cycle off. This is a template project that I get started with whenever I do my drum recording. So a couple of things that you need to do to be able to switch back and forth is, if you open up the property inspector here, you need to group all of your drum parts into a common group. So I'll set this up as drums. So all of these things are linked together, and then in your settings down here, what you can do is decide what will be affected for each of these tracks that are together. So right now, automation mode, volume, and mute are the defaults. So if you're doing quantization, or if you're using flex and follow, you definitely want to set up the editing and quantize locked here. And what that is going to do is when you add flex and follow to 1, it's going to set it up for all of them. So, I mean, the obvious solution for this is always play in time perfect 100%, but that's unlikely to happen. So make sure you set this up, and then your parts won't get unsynced. And then also check the track alternatives. So when you're switching between them, it's automatically going to switch all 6 of those tracks to the different alternate, which might save you a little bit of time in the song construction process. So let's go through just a very quick sample recording, and I'll show you what this looks like. All right, here's a quick time-lapse recording going through 5 or 6 takes, and how it creates a different track alternative every time. So you can see that it's adding a completely different folder under each of the tracks. And now let's go through and show you how to toggle back and forth. Okay, so here are all the alternates that have been recorded. And what I do when we're working on stuff remotely is just literally play this, record it with a screen recorder with the audio, dump it into a Dropbox, and then I can send that to the band. They can check it out and see which kind of feel or vibe or whatever that they like the best. So you get the idea. You can switch back and forth between multiple ones, and you can also rename all of your track alternates as well. So you can rename things by whatever the region is called, or just put in a custom name for each. So B, I would just replace this with simple intro, switching to E. So this was the one that was the first one that I played, and this is more of the proggy, I guess, type of intro, if you will. And it'll just save you a little bit of time later on. And then if you've decided which take that you want, whatever one that you have active, you delete inactive, and boom, all of your project is just cleaned up right there. So hope you enjoyed this short video, and leave a comment and subscribe, and let me know what else you'd like to see about how you can make some shortcuts while you're in your songwriting process.